Hi, I'm Jessica Lombard, proud superintendent of Huntley 158. Welcome back to RAIDER Roundtable. Today, we're highlighting an important role of family engagement in our schools. Joining us is our family engagement liaison, Ina Hall, who works closely with students, families, and staff to help build a strong connection between home and school. In this episode, we'll talk about how supporting families, removing barriers, and creating meaningful partnerships can help every student feel supported and successful. Welcome, Ina. We're so glad you're here today.
Thank you, Jessica. It's my pleasure.
Ina, I know this is your first year here in Huntley 158. You are our family engagement liaison, and your past has led you to be the perfect person to jump in that role. Can you tell us a little bit about your background?
Sure. Thank you. My entire life, I've always had a focus and a passion for teens and making sure that they have the resources that they need to be successful adults, whatever that might be. So one of my first full-time jobs was a counselor in a adolescent mental health unit. And from there, I had a full-time job at Family Services of McHenry County. And we had a grant actually to work at the Huntley Middle School, which was the first level of Huntley High School now. And we went in and we did drug and alcohol prevention programs for the young kids, kind of not to fall into the peer pressure. And then I worked with pregnant and parenting teenagers for quite a while through Youth Service Bureau. I was a stay-at-home mom for a while. And then I came back and I worked at McHenry County College as a high school recruiter. So I was going into all of the high schools recruiting for, their next steps after they graduate. And then most recently, before coming to Huntley, I worked with students who were chronically absent and truant from school.
I know that is some great training, education, experience with youth and adolescents. You've also had some experience around event planning that has prepared you for this role. You want to talk a little bit about that experience?
Sure. I have had a passion for volunteering for years. So I did it on my own through mainly community events, and then I was approached by the Rise Up Foundation in McHenry, Illinois, to start helping them plan the McHenry Music Fest. I'm now a board member for the Rise Up Foundation. It's an annual music fest. It's 10,000 people every night, so a total of 30,000. So when I interviewed for this position, I kind of had a feeling I would be okay with the event planning. It's on a much smaller scale. Yes. So I have several different events that I plan here for the district. Annual events, monthly events, and then quarterly events also.
I know not a lot of districts have this position. Can you tell us what is the role of the family engagement liaison and how do we utilize that here in our district?
I'm fairly new to the role. I started in August, but right away I found out that there's two parts to this. I have two hats. One is working with families and connecting them to school resources and services, and then the other one is connecting them to community resources. So I've got that bridge. I work with the families to bridge them to whatever services. It might be a specific person that they need to talk to in the district. I really encourage families to use me as this is what I need. I have no idea where to go to get it, or I don't know who to talk to. I might not know the answer right away, but I will do the digging to find it, because that process can be frustrating, especially if a family is already stressed out a little. Let me do that work and find the right person you need to talk to. Goes very similar to the community resources. Let me look for that specific doctor that you need under your insurance that doesn't have a 4-month waiting list and isn't an hour drive. Let me do all of that so you can concentrate on, tending to your kids and hopefully that, takes some of the stress off of their plate.
And because of your background and the experiences that you've had, you've been able to make connections within our county for some of those resources that are out there that parents might not know.
Yes.
And again, we might not have all the answers, but one of the things that I've noticed about you this year is you're going to try to find that. How can we best support our families? This role is relatively new in our district. And when it started, just being able to provide those resources and to provide support, we started that kind of on a smaller level and have been able to springboard that this year. Talk to us about what are some of the new things that you have brought to the district to be able to now elevate this role and the support that we can give to families. Not that we couldn't do those before, but it takes time and you want to make sure it's the right opportunity to be able to do that. So what new things have you brought to this role this year?
I'm not sure if it's new or if it's just slight changes to what was already happening. I am a change agent. So I like changing things to make them better. I have that flexibility in my personality to be like, okay, that's not going to work. Let's pivot to something else. When I first started, Family Learning Series is a virtual event for all families. But it really had like the marketing was for our families that have children with IEPs. So I said, if this is going to be topics that can be beneficial for all families, we need to market it differently. So now we send that, email out to all families, or that text message. It's in newsletters for all of the families. The topics are relevant for everyone. In the fall, we had one on attendance and chronic absenteeism. In the winter, we had a well-being and, beating the winter blues. That's everybody. This April, we're going to be doing one with Center for Emotional Wellness on anxiety in children and how to manage stress. And so we're marketing all of that towards everyone instead of those special service
and that's
families.
one of the things that I realized, and when we started, that was the intent. It was very targeted to be able to offer supports for our families, and that around having an IEP, and maybe it was just different resources or challenges they may have had, and that worked. But what we noticed that it was larger. All of our families could benefit from those resources, and then how do we springboard that? So thank you for that.
You're welcome. The Thriving Future Talks, that was previously called the Transition Talks. I'm new coming into the district. I see this Transition Talks is a series that I'm going to be planning. I immediately think transition is for those students transitioning out of high school. But then I learned that we want to focus on K through 12, all students. So I said, we really need to change this name so families who have a second grader with an IEP know that they are welcome, and all of the subjects we're talking about during this series are going to be relevant for them too.
And I think that marketing was important because families maybe weren't sure, does this pertain to me, or is it really as they are ready to graduate, move on? But no, we really want to make sure families from early on are part and, have those resources and knowledge as they continue through our district here.
So with the Thriving Future Talks, we are now having a Thriving Parent Support Group. That's a monthly group meant for any family that has a child with an IEP. And then we have the focus on the sensory-friendly events. I don't know how much has been offered in the past, but we've started a couple new ones.
Tell us a little bit about what is that sensory-friendly event?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sensory-friendly would be for our folks who might just not want to be in a crowded area or a noisy area, but we want to include them. So we're all inclusive.
So it's a regular event we'd be hosting, but then there is a sensory-friendly component so that they can participate.
So we have the wellness fair opened an hour early for our friends who want to come, but they don't want a big crowd. They don't want bright noises. They don't want loud noises. So we invited them to come an hour early. We are also partnering with Salon Mac, a hair salon in Crystal Lake, and they are gracious enough to open their doors on a Sunday when they're usually closed for our families who have children who have difficulty getting their hair cut. And they have been so accommodating. They have a table full of fidgets, and they can dim the lights, and it's quiet. There's a quiet atmosphere. If the child needs to watch out the window at the traffic going by to distract them, they were doing haircuts, watching the cars go by, or mom was holding the child where the haircut was happening.
I was really glad to see that. Last year, there was a sensory-friendly shopping experience for students. And so more and more of our businesses in the community are wanting to know how can they partner with the schools to provide experiences. So this was just another opportunity that families can have something that we all take, for granted, that how can we do this in a very comfortable environment for their children. So
we're going to do another shopping event.
Great.
That's in the planning, and then we're hoping to do a movie sensory-friendly event.
Very good. We had a very special event just recently, and that was our wellness fair. Tell us a little bit about what is our wellness fair. It was a fantastic attendance. A lot of work went in there, but was really something great for our community. So tell us a little bit more about that.
That was probably the highlight so far for me. I had two others who helped me plan the fair, and we partnered with the Huntley Public Library. So a couple different changes right off the bat. We changed, it was the mental health fair, and we turned it into the wellness and health, interactive wellness and health fair. That was probably the best part of it, was the interactive part.
Sure.
We requested all of our vendors to have a game or activity at the table for our guests to come up and interact with them. Like, I think we've all been at a resource fair, and you go to a table, you grab the information, you keep walking, you probably never look at the information. There was so many conversations happening, and there were smiles all over the place. The games and the activities that the vendors came up with were so creative that a 5-year-old was enjoying it just as much as the adult was.
Sure.
Our goal was to double the amount of people that we had last year, which was 70. So I'm like 140. And we've done our job. During that first hour of the sensory-friendly hour, we had already had 70 people. So I'm like, okay, we're already at last year. And by the end of the day, we had over 300 families come.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And so we know it's something that our parents, that our families want, but to see so much involvement in the community coming to set up an area, an activity, to take that time, that they see that value as well. And that's a great partnership. Ina, we still have a little bit here going into the remainder of this school year, and then you've already started planning into next year as well. Are there any events you'd like to highlight, or any partnerships that you'd like to highlight that are in the works that we can share with our viewers today?
Yes, absolutely. March 18th, we're going to have our Thriving Future Talks meeting that happens at the district from 6:30 to 7:30. This is for families who have children with IEPs. Our TA, which is the Regional Transit Authority, will be coming out and talking about building independence through accessible transportation for our students who are, getting older and need their independence, but also need to get from place to place without their parents having to drive them. Then April 7th, I'm really excited about this. This is the Family Learning Series, where Jackie Rue from Center for Emotional Wellness will be presenting on anxiety in our children and managing stress. This is a virtual event from 6 to 7 p.m. We will like all of our events, we send an email about 2 weeks before the event. It's in all of our school newsletters. We use our social media to put that information out there. And then I have started this year, this is new this year, I text. So all families will get a text message. I am busy, I am a mom. If I'm in my kitchen cooking dinner and I get a text message saying Family Learning Series is starting in 15 minutes, just click here, I will be more likely to click on the link and watch the presentation while I'm cooking dinner. It's virtual, it's a workshop, so you don't have to have your camera on. You can, ask questions, but you certainly can go about your business at home and still be part of it.
And that's a topic that we see more and more of our children and our students having stress or anxiety. So this absolutely is a very timely and very purposeful event. And so hopefully we will have more viewers chime in on that. I know some of these are virtual and some are in person. How do you go about deciding what events would be virtual and what should be in person?
Like I said earlier, I am flexible and pivot. So I think it's really important to listen to what our families need. And I think they want a little bit of both. I find value in face-to-face, but I also find value in convenience in the virtual. So we try to, the fairs are going to have to be face-to-face, right? So our transition fair is April 15th. That's paired with our college fair. It's at the Huntley High School. Our wellness fair is in person.
It's an interactive piece, right? It has to,
Our family learning series has always been virtual. That was before my time. Who knows? Maybe we'll change that up next year. And then our transition talks, which is now our Thriving Future Talks, is in person. And that, I think, has been virtual at times, just if we want to pack in maybe more than one presentation in a month.
We have our annual Hootenanny. So you've already thought about ways that we can ensure more feel comfortable participating in events like that are just, it's a community-wide event. What's in the works there?
Sure. I'll back up a little. I volunteered for the Hootenanny last year. I was like, this is amazing. There are so many people. And then I learned of Rockin' the Spectrum. They have a sensory tent. So they come and they have a tent with fun toys, gadgets, trinkets, fidgets, and it's meant for people who need a break from the commotion. It's a nonprofit, and it was built around their own loved one has autism, and they would go to events and they wouldn't be able to stay very long because their, the older sister would need to go home because it was too stimulating for her. So they created Rockin' the Spectrum. So I was like, I love this, and I worked with Mark, and and Rockin' the Spectrum will be at the Hootenanny next year.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I've met with the planning crew for the Huntley Fall Fest. I'm pretty sure it's going to be there also. That way it gives our families a chance to go and be inclusive, right?
Absolutely.
So they can go to these fun events and not be afraid that they're going to have to leave right away or find a quiet spot. We're going to have that spot waiting for them if they need it.
That's wonderful. I know we've talked a lot about different events that are put on, whether they be monthly conversations, large events that are in the community or in our district. But you do a lot for individual families just on a day-by-day basis. What are some of those things that you provide for our families, and how do they reach out or know to contact you if there is something that they need?
Sure. I would say my advice would be if a family knows they need something, talk to the teacher, find out who the family liaison is, or remember my name, Ina Hall, and contact me via email, phone number. You can text me. I have that information I can give at the end. I would say the majority of my families are coming because they need outside resources. I think the schools are doing a pretty good job on connecting them to who they need to talk to in the schools. I think that I'm there for them when they don't know who they can talk to, or maybe they're not able to get in touch with someone that they need to talk to. I have a lot of requests for specific types of doctors, or I need a therapist for my son. I've never done this. I don't know where to start. I'll send an email full of questions, and once I have some details, I usually start with the email because I feel like that's more comfortable for a family to read to see what it is that I need from them. I always follow up with a phone call. I think conversations are important. So if it's a phone call, they can come in my office for a face-to-face meeting. I have offered to meet people at Starbucks if that's more comfortable, especially if there's a school refusal situation and the student doesn't want to come to school, but they'll meet me for a coffee at Starbucks. Like, however I can reach them, I will. But it's a lot of outside resources on therapy, specific doctors. It might be families losing housing and they need that financial assistance and the resources to, maybe the food pantries, housing. I recently had a family, who needed a car. And so there's so many resources out there. But when you're overwhelmed with some, frustrating situations at home, it's hard to know where to navigate.
You also help them just navigate maybe processes within the school district. You talked about if someone has recently lost their home for whatever that reason might be, it's what are my next steps? How can I, maybe they're new to the area and have to register, or whatever that might be. You're able to walk them through what are those next steps? What does the district offer? What does, and all of that.
Or let them know that there are supports.
Absolutely.
You're not alone. So let's get you on the McKinney-Vento list.
Absolutely.
Do you know what that list means? That means you don't have to pay for registration. You're going to have free lunch. You're housed a town away. Guess what? We are going to get those kiddos to school so they don't miss a beat.
And we'll take that for you, so that's one less thing that you have to worry about as they're, doing all of the other things and making sure that their kiddo is taken care of.
Yes.
And is where they need to be. I know you've also worked on putting together resources that are up on our website, so that parents maybe, hey, I don't need a phone call, but what are some of these community resources? And so that was something I know you spent some time working on, and that's probably an ever-evolving list of new resources that come out there. But that's another place that our families can go if they just wanted to take a look at what supports are out there in the community.
I think that's like the Huntley 158 resource directory. What I like about it is it's a simple Google Doc. So when they click on it from our website, I always do the Control F. So whatever it is that a family is looking for, if they do Control F for food, housing, therapy, whatever, ABA therapy, if it's specific, they can easily find that because it's a pretty long running document.
Some families or people just may not reach out because they're not sure, is this something that I can ask for? Should they do that?
Absolutely. I think I pride myself on being approachable, and I want to help. And no questions dumb. I want to help them, and if anything, they can talk to me, and sometimes it's just a listening ear that they need. They need to vent, or they need to just, bounce ideas off of somebody. I can also be that person. I feel like I've been in the community I grew up in Woodstock. I'm still in Woodstock, so I know McHenry County very well. And I know, working in this industry, I've made a lot of connections. So when a family doesn't know where to go, or they don't know how to get to what they need, I would be a very good resource for them.
This has been something that has been so beneficial to our families. We know that our students, when they are here in our care, need to have all of their basic needs met to be able to be ready to learn. And that's something that you can help families to take care of for them, as well as then just talk about things for setting our students up for future success when they leave Huntley 158. I know we're always looking at ways that we can better support our students, our families. How can we enhance our programs? What ideas do you have, or what thoughts do you have on how we can continue to better support our families and their needs?
Sure. I think continuing to listen to their feedback. When we send those surveys out, we take seriously to their answers. And most importantly, then we take action on it. There's nothing worse than doing a survey and you see nothing done from it. So if we can listen to our families and get a gauge on what it is that they are wanting or needing, and then, the following year they see the action on what that survey result showed, they will will trust us, right? They will know that we care about them and that we're going to continue taking care of them.
Absolutely. We just don't ask for that feedback. We have to act on that feedback, truly listen to that. And while we can't change everything or do everything all at once, seeing those steps will help all of our families feel they're truly listening, they truly want to partner. So thank you for sharing that.
Sure, you're welcome.
Ina, is there anything that you would like to leave our listeners and our viewers with today about your role, about your services, or anything you'd just like to share with them?
Don't hesitate to reach out to me if you need something. And especially, and I've already said this, like, I think the most important part is sometimes families don't know the services that are out there, and there are so many. So don't write it off right away. Like, my car's been totaled in a car accident and I'm an Uber driver and now I have no income. Call me, because there are places out there that will donate a car for you. You just don't know what's out there until you ask.
I know we're going to go ahead and throw your contact information up so that all viewers have that if they need to reach out to you. They can always reach out to their classroom teachers, their building administrators to get in contact with you as well.
Yes.
But thank you so much for joining us today. You've been a pleasure to have as a guest, as well as such an asset here in Huntley 158.
Thank you so much. I love my job.
Here's a fun fact for this episode. Since the beginning of the school year, in her role as Family Engagement Liaison, Ina has supported approximately 160 students and their families. And on average, she meets one new family each and every school day. If you have any questions or concerns about your child's educational experience, or you're looking for resources within our community, start with Ina. She's more than happy to point you in the right direction. And as we wrap up, I'd like to thank the Huntley Area Public Library for the use of their recording studio, and to all of you for tuning in to this episode of RAIDER Roundtable, where it's all students always. Until next time.